Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Friday, July 3rd, 2026. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral for the Queer God Squad. Join me today and most days. Joining me are Bishop Robert Griffin and Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by hot spouts happening out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world. In 2026, we are celebrating the 41st anniversary of Hot Spots magazine with Queer News Tonight, sharing over 14,000 stories and 12 million views so far. We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
Please like and share today's story, and if you'd like to support the work of Sunshine Cathedral, visit sunshinecathedral.org.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. Admirable Queer Faith. Churches are urged to learn from LGBTQ plus faith. In a recent Sojourners opinion piece, Bryan Epps argues that the church should look to the LGBTQ plus community not just as a mission field, but as a source of wisdom and theological insight. Reflecting on the history of ballroom culture and the resilience of queer communities during the AIDS crisis, Epps highlights how these marginalized groups built systems of care, chosen families, and networks of survival when mainstream institutions, including the church, failed them. Epps contends that the queer people have maintained deep faith despite institutional exclusion, often sustaining the very churches that marginalized them. Ultimately, he challenges the church to move beyond mere inclusion towards humility. He suggests that if congregations want to follow Jesus, they must recognize the inherent dignity and profound faithfulness of queer communities who have successfully practiced beloved community outside of church walls. Great article. Please go online, read the whole article by Epps. But I think he really does raise an important question for people of faith today and people who are not part of either queer churches like the Sunshine Cathedral or affirmative O&A churches or affirmative churches, to really look at the queer community as an example of what it means to lead by faith. Mm-hmm. There are many marginalized groups in our society, but the queer community has been one of those that's been on the forefront of marginal relations for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say even especially so since the AIDS epidemic, since certain political regimes have come to power. The queer community continues to be that marginalized community who continues to exhibit extreme deep faith in their conviction, in their religious belief or spiritual belief, or even their spiritual practices. And I think that the queer community is an example that has shown proof that because of our uniqueness, because of our upbringings, some across the board of our upbringings, there's a deep faith within all of us. There's a deep sense of spirituality within all of us. And you really can't persecute a group of people and not expect them to have some deep-rooted faith that connects them to something much greater than who they are, that gets them through it. So yeah, churches, turn to the faith community, turn to your LGBTQ faith community to say, hey, how can we have conversations that can help us deepen our faith as we continue to minister, as he puts it, to minister and put that practice into place, practice belong the beloved community. And what does that look like? It's not just parades and rainbow flags. It's conversations. It's been a community. It's been a communion with each other, and in a communion that leaves no one out.
Mm-hmm. The phrase here, a source of wisdom and theological insight, really resonates with me. Now, it's pretty common knowledge within the lesbian community, particularly those of us who are a little bit older, that there are a lot of lesbian communities that are formed. Mm-hmm. Women will actually buy groups of houses together and support each other and live together and care for each other as they age. And there's a deep theological connection to that as well, caring for each other, finding your own faith, your own way of expressing your own spirituality within this community, it really bonds people, bonds women together. And I think that a lot of mainline churches could really take a look at these kinds of communities to see what is working. We're going to take care of each other. The church may say, no, you don't get to belong here. You don't get to do this or that because of who you are, who you love, the way that you love. But we're going to keep on keeping on because that's what we do. We take care of each other. There's a lot of wisdom in that.
There is a movie, and I know you know it, Pride. It's a British movie from 2014, although it's about the 80s, the Margaret Thatcher years, when the coal miners in Wales were on strike. And this was also the early days of AIDS. And the queer community in London came to the defense of the miners in Wales. And of course, these are tough guys in Wales. They're tough families or whatever. And at first, they're embarrassed that these are the people who want to help them. Eventually, they appreciate the support and they accept it, and they return the favor. One guy even says, "When you need us, we'll be there." And sure enough, they turn up in London for a big thing, and they're there to speak for them. So it just reminds me, though, that the ethos of the queer community is love, and not just the freedom to love sexually and romantically who you do, but we have to love each other, or we wouldn't survive. And sometimes, there's a lot of internalized homophobia and a lot of horizontal violence. We're very catty and we're mean to each other sometimes. But let somebody from the outside come for us, and suddenly, boom, we are united. We're not having that. We're taking care of our sisters and brothers. Also remember the AIDS crisis. How so much money raised in gay bars. Queens donating their tips, bartenders donating their tips, fundraising for AIDS causes. Also, people coming together for these funerals. So many people dying. It was the bar crowd and the drag crowd and the leather crowd that would show up and mourn and cry and remember. A lot of times people, gay men, needed caregivers. Their families had abandoned them. Their lesbian friends showed up to comfort them and escort them really into the next world. When even medical professionals wouldn't go into a person with AIDS hospital room, even to give them their food, queer people did. They're like, okay, this is my friend, we'll go in. And so yeah, the queer community is, I believe, God's gift of love to the world. It is a way to show a love that isn't limited in any kind of way, not limited by tradition, not limited by society, not limited by how things used to be, not limited by government or religion. Just a love that shows up and holds you no matter what and will never let you go. There was I forget, I think it was maybe 1988, and I'm not a sports guy, but there's this iconic image. There were these two boxers, and they were adversaries professionally. They probably got along well enough in life, but in the ring, they were competitors. And one of them in 1988 was very ill with AIDS. And there's this iconic photo of the other guy who's well, hugging him in bed. And it just brings tears to your eyes that this love that transcends disease and societal expectations and prejudice, that just shows up and gives you a hug. Now, I don't know if either of those people were queer, but that same sort of thing I did see and live through in the queer community over and over and over again. Churches would disavow and disaffiliate, and families would kick people out. Even friendships would, go awry. But queer people were always there to pick up the mess, clean up the mess, put the pieces back together, and hold someone. We were determined not to let one another die alone or to die forgotten. I remember the die-ins at St. Patrick Cathedral, like, how controversial, how rude of these people. But no, they were fighting for life and dignity and trying to get attention, not for themselves, but for the cause. So yes, I really believe that the rainbow people of God is a way that God communicates the power, the healing, the miraculous power of love. So churches, you can learn from the LGBTQ plus children of God. In fact, maybe I could even be as bold to say you must learn if you want to truly be the Church of Jesus Christ. And that's today with the Queer God Squad. Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ plus community is talking about. Please like and share this and other episodes of the Queer God Squad. Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together, and also remember that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.